Okay, welcome to Nordic-Benelux Innovation Factory. And my name is Jason Lee. I'm currently a director of Nordic-Benelux Center and also director of Nordic-Benelux Center of Excellence at Korea University. And this session is actually co-organized by the Nordic-Benelux Center and Nordic-Benelux Center of Excellence. Some of you might have attended the earlier events of Nordic-Benelux Center, but Nordic-Benelux Center is KU organization, and we have organized a number of events, the lecture series, what we call the Innovation Factory, and we actually cover the issues on business, diplomacy, technology regarding Nordic and Northern Europe and the Benelux countries. And so far, a number of ambassadors, experts, and the CEOs have visited Korea University and have delivered valuable lectures in this program. And this event is the first event in the fall semester, and I'm truly privileged to have a very distinguished lecturer from a very popular and famous company, IKEA. Well, in English we pronounce IKEA, but I think in Swedish it's IKEA, and I suppose a Korean student will recognize the company as IKEA. How many of you have never used IKEA before? Okay. And that means at some point, especially for students, or when nowadays when we need some furniture which is not that heavy, but the casual, but convenient, and oftentimes IKEA is very near. You can order via online, or you may visit the IKEA like offline shop and be careful. Sometimes you would get lost and spend 2-3 hours easily there. But at least the good thing is there are something to eat there too. Some restaurants in IKEA. So this is certainly was not just furniture company, but was more of the lifestyle company. I will call. And today I'm privileged to have Mr. Fredrik Johansson, CEO and CSO, Chief Sustainability Officer of IKEA Korea, here at Korea University. Mr. Johansson is, I see, is truly the IKEA person. You have started your career in 1996 at IKEA, and spent 27 years especially in international business side of IKEA, and worked in Sweden, China, France, and Korea now, and nowadays working as CEO and CSO of Korea, the branch. And today's topic is about IKEA's sustainability for the future. Oftentimes we are talking, nowadays we talk a lot about ESG and new kind of business model, and also new kind of corporate governance, emphasizing environment and social value and transparent governance, and in total we may call it sustainability. So how to combine this sustainability and corporate governance, and how to combine this value with the customer values. So maybe no doubt regarding this sustainability issues, many European countries, most notably Sweden, have been the forerunners in enhancing this sustainability issues and agenda in many different settings in international the relation. So we will certainly we will see how sustainability is coming into the business arena with a wonderful case of IKEA. Okay, So without further ado, let's please welcome Mr. Fredrik Johansson to the floor. Please welcome him with a big round.
Thank you very much, first of all, for the kind introduction and for the warm applause. So I assume it's pretty clear who I am, but a few words that might be of interest. 26 years, yes, full-time, but I actually have 35 years in the company. I worked 9 years part-time during my high school and university years. I was actually here visiting this campus in 1995. There might be people here that weren't born at the time. I was sitting then where you are sitting, at another university in Seoul as an exchange student here. And at the time, we were not so many exchange students back then, and we were then invited to visit some of the campuses of the other major universities. So this is my first revisit here since 1995. I can't say that I recognize very much, maybe we came from a different entrance, but it's anyway very, very nice to be back. So my love story with Korea started in 1995, and then I moved here then 5 years ago, together with a wife and kids. And today I will bring you a bit on a journey explaining what we as IKEA have done and what we aim to do. And I also think it's important to focus on the things that we have done, because anybody can make nice, something, okay? Yes? Anybody can make nice plans. It's actually that action speaks louder than words, so it's also very important to see what we have really accomplished as well. And this is not intended in any way to be any propaganda. We make lots of mistakes at IKEA. We make lots of genuine mistakes, and we hope that we are the first ones to apologize when it happens and to rectify the mistakes done. And after the presentation, which will be, I assume, 30-35 minutes, I look forward to the Q&A. And you don't have to be careful. Anything you want to ask, feel free to ask. If I cannot answer, I will tell you so, but I will do my best to answer. Thank you. All right. I only saw one hand that have never been in contact with IKEA, but that's okay. Certainly, you're laughing there. I saw your hand. Since 3 years back, all CEOs, or if you like, country managers, have a dual role. It's CEO and CSO. We have felt that sustainability is the future. It's not about the world that we got from our parents, it's actually about the world that we borrow from our children. So we said that we can't delegate that responsibility. In each and every country, we need to have the CEO taking that as well, to make sure that it gets all the energy and all the effort behind it, to make sure that we become a lot better than we were, and that we are a positive contribution to a better world. If I then, voila. I want to start with the vision. I think this is very important. This is the reason why we exist, and it's about creating a better every life for the many people. We do that in many ways. One way, certainly, you will see is through our business idea, where we offer people affordable, good quality products to make their life at home better. But we also do it in the sense of securing that our co-workers are respected and treated fairly all over the world. And the third way we do it is by being a good neighbor, securing that people living close to IKEA, that they get the support needed where appropriate. And on top of that, lots of donations. I will talk a bit about that later. To the most vulnerable people in the world. But this is really important, and I think it inspires me for 35 years now to stay with the company, because it gives me a very clear sense of purpose. It's not about making anybody rich, it's about being a good force in the world. Then we have the business idea, and this more explains the business as such. So this is what we do most of the time. But I rather want to focus on the third part, which is democratic design, which explains how we do it. And everything we do, we aim to secure that all these five parts So form, function, quality, sustainability, and a low price, that they go hand in hand. I don't want to come here and say that we are successful all the time, but anybody can produce a service or a product that needs 2 or 3 of these. The trick is to secure that we hit on all 5. And I think that is, in my opinion, one of the secrets. Thank you.
All right, let's see if this is better.
So I believe that is crucial when it comes to the way that we do things, that we aim for this. Not always 100% successful, but there's a very tight net to secure that at least we believe when we launch the service or a product that we meet all these criteria. Then some of you know that IKEA used to be the blue and yellow box from the potato field outside of the city. That was the past. We are still there, we still intend to continue with that, but the world is changing so fast. So for us to stay relevant, we also need to change with the world. That means, for example, e-commerce. It sounds like something very obvious right now, but a few years ago when we decided to go for e-commerce, it was not a given. But it's also about being in the cities where the many people are. When we see many big cities in the world that people don't buy a car anymore. And public transportation to some of the traditional stores might not be that good. So then we need to find ways of being in the cities where the people are. So we have a lot of different formats today that we can use when we want to penetrate the city and make sure that we are accessible for the many. On top of that, of course, it's about services and so on. In the past, people came with the car, they drove home with the car with most of their things with them. But we can also see that the service economy is becoming so much bigger, where we need to be both affordable and relevant with the services we offer along with the products. So quite big changes for us. And then of course the sustainability agenda that is coming more and more. We believe that by having flat packs, we were actually on the train very early, because we have since many decades not been shipping air, we've been shipping flat packs, so in that sense being very economical. So what we have said that we need to secure even stronger moving forward is to say we need to be even more affordable. It has been very painful this year when we've been forced to increase prices worldwide. In Korea, thankfully, a little bit less than in many other markets, but that is very painful. That is the last thing we want to do. We want to lower our prices every year. We want to do that by scale effects, by being smarter with materials and smarter with the way that we do things. So that is not at all the direction we aim for. But we have to do it, and of course this we need to rectify. We need to find ways to come back to a lower level so that we every year can make sure that more and more people can actually afford our products. And especially if we look at the vulnerabilities in the world today, with economic disasters, wars, COVID, you name it, there are even more people that are being pushed into poverty or being pushed from the middle class into below that. And we need to be there for them, because that is our mission, that is the reason we exist, to make sure that more people can have a great life. So this is absolutely one of the main topics that we are focusing on. Then it's about securing that we are better, much better than today, at amplifying omnichannel. So going from being this potato field retailer in blue and yellow boxes to being someone who you can connect with anytime, anywhere, and anyhow you like. Whether online, offline, a combination, going to a showroom and to be inspired, choosing to place an order later or not, or being inspired by IKEA and going to a competitor and buying your stuff, or producing them yourselves. The important thing is that we contribute to a better world. It is actually secondary whether people choose to buy the products from us or not. But if we can inspire people to have a better life at home, we feel that we have accomplished something. It is about going much further than where we are today and developing a fully sustainable model, making sure that we are not seen as a company and that we are not in any way a company that pushes for mass consumption and a throwaway culture. This is truly important to us, and here we have quite a big job left to do. We have come quite a bit on the journey, I will show you later, but every time you accomplish something new, you realize that there's so much more to do. So this is a never-ending journey in a way, but a very positive journey. if you look at the world that we are facing now, it's full of disasters. We have drought in some places of the world. This summer was extremely dry in Europe, for example. We have lots of wildfires, and of course we have melting ice caps. So it's a very serious situation. I believe that 10 years ago there were a number of people that were confident enough to deny that this was happening. I think today there are quite a few people that deny that it is a bit of an enormous crisis, and if we don't act very soon together, it might actually be too late. Then we are not giving our children a planet that we are proud of anymore, and we have the power and the chance now to do something about that. And I will just show you a brief movie here to get you a bit into the mood, potentially, before I continue. Not yet, obviously. Sorry about that. So if I spin on that first then, the movie is coming after this. What this means for us is that this is bringing lots of new challenges for our business. Because if it's a challenge for the world, it's a challenge for our business. And you can no longer get away being a business that is actually creating havoc or creating a worse world. The new rules of the game is that you need to contribute. And if you look at then, referring to the previous picture, the crisis, you can see that unsustainable consumption puts greater pressure on the planet. So we need to do something about this. We can no longer be seen or be acting as one of those. We need to do something about that very fast. The second one is the climate change. What does that mean for us that buy lots of products in Europe that we ship to Korea, or buy products in China that we ship to Europe? What can we do here to make sure that we, again, are contributing to a better world? And the third one is inequality. That is unfortunately lately going in the wrong direction. There was a positive trend for a number of years, but now we are at the crossroad where things are actually going in the wrong direction. And this is also for us something that is very close to our hearts, and where we feel that we need to play a positive role here. Now for the movie.
What if we could create a better everyday life for the many people? For the couples that turn into families, the children, the lovers, for the old ladies, the single mothers, and for those who need to start all over. What if we always side with the many by designing the price tag before anything else? What if furniture could be better for nature, better for people? What if we could make furniture out of waste? What if old glass could get new life? What if we could collect all these bottles and turn them into something else? Like this chair. What if we could plant more trees than we use? And what if we could use wood in new ways so that this tree and all of these trees could grow to be just trees? What if we turn the tables on food and make meatballs without meat? What if we turn the tables on tables and make screws that aren't screws? In fact, what if we lose the screws completely so we can put things up, take them down, and put them up again? What if we try to design new behaviors instead of new products? Better play instead of toys, and better sleep instead of beds? What if water taps could save water? And light bulbs could save light? What if all our stores could power themselves? And what if the best packaging is no packaging? What if we could make furniture out of air? What if we tried twice and failed twice? And what if we try again? What if we celebrate our differences? Because without each and every person, we wouldn't be complete. What if we never settled for an answer? What if we always ask ourselves, what if?
All right. From my point of view, in the year 2000, we realized that we were part of the problem. And since then, we've been working very hard to become part of the solution. I think we've come quite a long way, but we have, as I mentioned before, a lot more to do. 2021 was for us the leap year of sustainability. So the leap year where we said that now we have a year where we go full on, that starts the decade of sustainability until 2030, when we should be climate positive. We call that the people and planet positive, and that consists of different parts, but it's the climate, but it's also equality, and so on. So it's a whole package for us. So when it comes to healthy and sustainable living, we say that in 2030, what we want to make sure is that we have inspired and enabled more than 1 billion people to live a more sustainable life within the planet, the limits of the planet. So we have a few more years to get there. We also say when it comes to circular and climate positive, that we will become climate positive and regenerate resources while growing the IKEA business by 2030. Already last year we actually produced more green energy than we used. It doesn't mean that we everywhere use green energy only. Some of it we sell, we're not able to use in our own units. Korea, we're actually one of the worst countries in the IKEA world when it comes to using green energy. Talk a bit about that. And we talk about fair and inclusive to create a positive social impact for everyone across the IKEA value chain. And when it comes to the value chain, we also see the consumers that come to us, that are interacting with us. We see them as an integrated part in that value chain. And becoming climate positive by 2030, we will do that by being powered 100% by renewable energy while increasing energy efficiency. That's the first one. We will do it by striving for zero waste and becoming truly circular. And we will do it by ensuring zero emissions from home deliveries. Again, it's easy to paint a rosy picture with a visionary thing that you might never reach. So I think it's important also to say, so where are we now with all this view for 2030? And I will make a couple of deep dives, but I am genuinely proud of what we have managed to achieve from the year 2000, and especially maybe the last 2-3 years, by really investing and working very hard with our co-workers and with our partners. So a few deep dives. So 56% of the energy we use, but 76% of the electricity is actually green. And we are investing a lot of money. So far, we are owning 575 wind turbines in 17 countries. We own 20 solar parks. On top of that, we have close to 1 million solar panels on top of our stores and distribution centers in the world. So this, again, is really, really important to us. Some countries are far ahead and some countries not. But from a worldwide point of view, it looks fairly good, I would say. It's more to make sure that the rest of us catch up as well. Today, 73% of all the material we use in our products is either recyclable or renewable. We need to get that to 100%. 73 is an extremely high number looking at other retailers, but we don't compare to other retailers. We just know that we need to be at 100% in 2030. And of course, the last percentages are much harder than the first ones. So we build this in very clearly in the democratic design that I showed you with the 5 different elements that all need to meet. So all new products meet this. When it comes to circularity, last year, so fiscal year 22, that ended for us in August, 227,000 products were actually bought back. We call it pre-loved products. When you have a product that you no longer need, what do you do with it? Yeah, we for sure don't want you to throw it away. Whether you give it to somebody, you sell it on an external platform, or you sell it back to IKEA, so that we can fix it and sell it to somebody who's willing to buy your pre-loved product. So we gave new life to 227,000 pieces last year, and I believe this is just the beginning. We are a big donator, and I think one thing that makes IKEA very different from most companies, not all, but most, is that we don't have an owner that wants a single penny from us. Nothing. Nothing. Out of the total profit we make, 85% goes back into the company to build new stores, to improve sustainability, invest in co-workers' competence, whatever it is, and 15% goes to IKEA Foundation. And this money is used to support the most vulnerable people in the world. A couple of weeks ago now, we made a donation of 20 million euros to flooding victims in Pakistan, as an example. We have donated, all in all, together with our sister company, IKEA, 60 million euros to Ukraine, refugees from Ukraine. So always where the most vulnerable people need us, that is what we use IKEA Foundations for. And of course, this gives us a big strength, because we can actually think in generations, because we don't have to think about a quarterly report, what will happen with the share value, will the shareholders be happy or not, and that gives us a unique benefit, I would say, to be able to think in generations and to say that now for 10 years we will work on this and make it happen. It will cost, but it's worth it, and we need to do it. So I mentioned before the decade of people and planet that we kicked off in 2021. So we have just entered now the third year for us, starting from 1st of September, where we work with this, and we know that we have this year and 7 more to really be where we need to be. And it's all about securing that better homes, how can they create a better life, and how will a better life create a better planet. If we then look into Korea, what have we done here? I mentioned, for example, that when it comes to green energy, we are far behind, but we have a lot of success stories here as well. Maybe just to touch the one there about the green energy, it's actually first from 1st of January this year that you have been able to buy green energy in Korea. And only 8% of the total offer of energy is green. And the price is unbelievable. So here, the only green energy basically that we get is the one that we produce ourselves by having solar panels. So there we need to get somewhere. And we are desperately looking for partners. We are more than willing to invest also here in wind turbines or in solar parks, just to make sure that we get there, so we can secure that in every country, so not only as a global average, but in every country that we secure that we run on 100% renewable energy. But if I move here then, we have been working a lot when it comes to how we inspire people with sustainable products to make sure that people can actually have a better life at home, a safer life at home. And we have, out of our range of 9,500 products, we have a number of those that we say are absolute sustainable heroes. And there is this global competition, every country is involved, who can sell the biggest share of your total sales from the sustainable heroes. And in Korea, we are actually the second best country, or the second highest in the world, in the IKEA world, I should say, which means that we have hopefully been quite good at showing inspiration around sustainability, but also that the consumers in Korea have a big interest in contributing. It could be contributing for a better world, or it could be the way I make sure that I save money by having more LED bulbs, for example, or it could be that I believe that this is healthy for my family, for my kid. So very, very good run there. Also when it comes to food, the first in-store urban farm is actually here in Korea. Not only the first, it's the only one so far. We have urban farms in many countries, but we have them in containers outside of the IKEA stores. But here we built the first one to really inspire. And this works tremendously well. The interest is definitely there. If I look at when I came to Korea 5 years ago, I felt that the interest in sustainability was not huge. And I moved here from Paris at the time. But what we can see now is how much that has increased after the Green New Deal, after the ESG drive and so on. And I think that's fantastic. Not only for people living in Korea, but it's fantastic that Korea is a contribute to putting this so high on the agenda. So we see this coming very, very strongly. Then we have overall, when it comes to plant-based food, and it's not about telling people you should not eat meat. That is not the way we want to do it. We want to give people an option and say, if you want to buy traditional food, meat, please go ahead and do that. We will continue to serve that, but we will also increase our offer when it comes to plant-based food, which is better for the planet. For example, this plant bowl is 96% lower carbon footprint than the traditional meat bowl. And another big surprise for me coming to Korea, which for me is a huge meat country. We are by far, IKEA Korea by far, number one when it comes to the share of plant bowls that we sell in our restaurants. I would never have expected that. So that's also a very big contribution. And we have now 25% plant-based food in the restaurant, and from this year we will reach 42%, giving you a wider range of more food that is plant-based and better for the environment, hopefully better for you as well. Home deliveries. At the end of August, 30% of all truck deliveries to homes and businesses in Korea were based on EV trucks. We will reach 60% this year, and in 2025 we will be on 100% worldwide, including Korea. 30% is a quite good number. Some of you might have seen before when I showed worldwide that we are actually ahead. We wanted to be even further, but there were supply issues last year to get enough trucks for us. And the interesting thing is that it doesn't cost more. Many people think that sustainability always costs more. It doesn't, and especially now when diesel is up through the roof in many countries, this is a very, very good opportunity, a very good option. And that's exciting that we're getting away from this, that if I do sustainable things, they always cost more than conventional things. Circularity, making that easy. I mentioned the 227,000 products, pre-loved products that we took back or brought back and gave a new life in someone else's home. We also have this circular hub in all our units here in Korea. Also there, I'm very positively surprised to see how many people are actually willing to buy pre-loved products. It is fantastic to see. So this is growing way faster and more than we expected. Then we have equality, diversity, and inclusion. And for us, to have an inclusive society is really, really important. And here we look at each country that we go to. What does it mean here? What are the glass ceilings in this specific country? Which will be very different in Sweden compared to Korea, for example. In Korea, the first glass ceiling is the gender gap, where business is still, in our opinion, a man's world. So we need to secure equality there. And we have now 54-46, the gender share when it comes to management positions in the company in Korea. Then it's about single unwed moms that we have been working with for 5 years now to make sure that a group that is a bit on the outside in Korea, not always respected, that they are taken care of. We work together with them. We have also started working with elderly people, securing that elderly people that do not have an income, that do not maybe have a safety net in terms of family, that we are there with them, but we have a lot more to do there. We have people with disabilities, where we secure that we are minimum on the government level of securing that you should have a certain share of employees with disabilities. And for us, this is not a sacrifice. We are very happy to do this. And I would say that some of the most loyal people you can imagine are the people that don't get equal opportunities elsewhere. So if you open up for those people, they will love you more than anybody else, because you are actually giving them a chance to show who they truly are. The last group I want to mention is the LGBTQ+ community. That is also in Korea a very vulnerable group. not respected neither by family nor by societies. And here we do what we can. We were actually the only company with a logo in the queer parade this summer in Seoul. I hope soon that we will have more, that we will have a similar journey as with sustainability. 5 years ago when we spoke about sustainability, we felt very lonely. Very lonely. Today, we have 500 companies wanting to talk sustainability with us. And I hope that the same goes for LGBTQ+. Today we are very lonely. But a few years down the road, we hope that we're not. And we have some people, some Koreans, not too many, but some Koreans that are actually openly gay, and I'm very proud of that. That we have in Korea people who can stand and say that, well, I'm gay. Korean people, and that is unfortunately very unusual also in Korea. And I hope this is something good that is starting now. Is this good for our business? Probably, maybe not. Maybe not, huh? When we started posting some years ago on Instagram, we expected 30% hate, some neutral, and the rest positive. Now it's down to 10% hate only when we post something positive about LGBTQ+. So society is somehow changing, and I think that's very healthy, and it feels great if we can play a small role in, again, making Korea more inclusive. Actions speak. I started saying that it's easy to make very visionary plans and presentations, and it's also very easy to try to impress people on what you've done. But I just want to re-stress here that we have made lots of mistakes. We will continue to make mistakes, but the ambition and the intention is there and is very clear. And there's no denial from our side that when a mistake is found, and we welcome scrutiny from NGOs, from governments and so on, and we're very happy to work together with them because we genuinely want to be a positive force. But we also know that if we don't take any risks and make statements of things we want to do, if we don't take these bold decisions, we will not move mountains either. So I hope that what I've shown here about the intentions we have, but also what we've already delivered, that you get a bit of an understanding here that at least we are genuinely trying to do our best, and we're not trying to impress anyone purely on what we aim to do, but also being transparent about where we are. So what does it take? And this is not a summary of a truth. This is our take. So this is IKEA's take. What we believe it takes to become climate positive. And we think that the first one is about the importance of having a vision, having a purpose. And our vision to create a better every life for the many people that was written decades ago, I think that it's actually more relevant than ever today. So we know exactly why we exist. Then we also know that to be able to get there, we need to make a certain profit so we can continue to expand and reach more of the many people. But the purpose is very clear. Then it's about having a holistic view of performance. And when we look at investments, we always look at the business result, how it impacts coworkers, how it impacts the consumer, and how it impacts the company from a profitability point of view. Always looking at that. That is very important to us, that you bring all dimensions in. That you don't only look at the top line, because that is very short-sighted. It might have worked some years ago, but if you're a consumer brand and you don't have genuine intentions, that you do it only for short-term profit, you might not live very long. So I think this is the new normal. Then it's about integrating sustainability into business to make sure that you always look at what is the additional carbon footprint, or how can we offset the carbon footprint if we take a certain decision. We say, it's good for business, is it also good for the planet? If not, what do we do? And if we don't have a mitigation plan, we don't go for it. Then we do something else instead. So always integrate sustainability into decisions taken. The fourth one is tackling dilemmas, and I was onto it a little bit, that many people believe, and many companies say, that we would like to be more sustainable, but it costs too much money, we can't afford it. We have, the last 10 years, been reducing our carbon footprint year after year, while we have increased our turnover and our reach. Another example is the EV trucks to deliver goods to people's homes. It's actually not more expensive. It's better for the planet, but it's not more expensive. So we need to get out of those made-up truths and show that, no, it is not true. If you really sincerely go into it and you look into it and try to find solutions, it is often a winning thing to be on the side of sustainability. I don't say it was 30 years ago, but now it is. So we need to get away from these dilemmas where people put two things against each other that should actually go hand in hand. And then it's about taking action together. Nobody can do everything, but everybody can do something. How can we secure that we create momentum behind sustainability and a better world? How can we make sure that NGOs, governments, consumers, companies, that we work together to really make sure that we move mountains together? Because if you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go far, you go together. And I think that is where we want to go. We want to go far. Speed is important, but it's better that we can really reach our long-term goals, which for us then is 2030, to be climate positive. So this is a bit how we see the menu. And we think also that it is good business to be a good business. Again, reducing our carbon footprint while turnover goes up at the same time as profit goes up. Not necessarily last year, because we were holding back when there were so many price increases, but overall. And of course, the extra bottom line, 15% goes to the most vulnerable people in the world, and the other 85% goes to making the business we are doing even better. So, doing your best for the planet, we believe, is good for your business. Yeah, that was the presentation.